the GOP is flailing and struggling to justify the reckless actions of President Trump in his war with Iran. And I think it is perfectly exemplified in this Fox Business interview clip with Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa. I'm going to play it and then commentary on the other side.
Senator, the Wall Street Journal reports that the Pentagon is sending 3 warships and thousands of additional Marines to the Middle East. Now, the president says he doesn't want boots on the ground in Iran, so what are these Marines doing there?
Well, they provide a lot of leverage, Stuart, and I just love the president when he keeps the reporters on their toes. We shouldn't be telling people what we are going to do and when we are going to do it, but believe me, President Donald J. Trump has the best interests of the United States at heart, but he also loves our men and women in uniform. He will not engage them unnecessarily. I know that to be true. So this is why it's so important that we do have partner nations stepping up, whether it's to assist in the Strait of Hormuz or whether it's to help stabilize in the Middle East.
Mind you, she is asking for partner nations to step up in a war that the president of the United States unilaterally decided to go into without letting our allies around the world know that we were doing this so that they could prepare accordingly. So now that Trump is in some trouble with the Strait of Hormuz, now he's asking for our allies that he didn't consult before to step up. Just keep that in mind.
But President Trump is very good about this. He's going to use what leverage he has, and we all will be so much better for it, Stuart.
I'm going to change the subject, Sam.
So when asking a very valid question about whether, like, what is the purpose of all of these Marines being sent boots on the ground in Iran, Senator Joni Ernst laughs, sycophantically praises Trump, and has to like continuously say that he's an amazing leader and that she loves him and has her utmost trust in him, and that they love to keep reporters on their toes by sending people into fucking war, right? It's unserious. It's a North Korean style answer from Joni Ernst, and it's become sort of a meme, like basically how sycophantically the GOP talks about Trump. But we're in wartime. These are the most powerful people in our country, and they're treating the president of the United States like a toddler. It's freaking insane. This is another example of continued contradictions between what the administration has been saying about the war and then what GOP politicians are saying about the war. President Trump had previously expressed that he didn't want boots on the ground. And now, because there is no proper communication between the president of the United States, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, Bibi Netanyahu, and the politicians that we, the people elected, our Congress people, since there's no actual communication going on about why we're doing what we're doing and what our objectives are, GOP senators and congresspeople are left flailing, and it creates these inherent contradictions between what's being said by the president and people in the admin and what's being said by congresspeople. I think one of the best examples of this was this clip created by CNN towards the beginning of the war, March 2nd, about the contradictions about whether or not this military operation in Iran is a war.
And we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
I don't know if this is technically a war.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
This isn't a war. We haven't declared war.
The Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War, said today this is a war.
We set the terms of this war, from start to finish.
Nobody should classify this as war. It is combat operations.
War is hell, and always will be.
Strategic strikes are not war.
I guess.
Okay, so again, because Trump unilaterally got our country into this without consulting the Congress, the way that the Constitution outlines the way that wars are supposed to be brought out, the GOP is scrambling, right, to have justifications and answer questions because Trump just decided to do this on his own. Remember in the beginning stages when we first learned about these strikes a few weeks ago, right? What were we told by administration officials what our goals and objectives and why we are doing this war? We were once told that it was to destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities, which I thought we had accomplished in the strikes earlier this year, but I guess not. Okay, I guess not. But so first we were supposed to destroy their nuclear capabilities. Then regime change got thrown around. Okay, we're doing a regime change war. But if you want to do a regime change war, you almost have to put troops on the ground. But then Trump said that he didn't want to put troops on the ground. And then when we killed like the 50 most high-ranking government officials of Iran who emerged as the new leader of Iran. The Ayatollah's son. So that doesn't seem like a worthwhile regime change operation. Okay, so that was a justification. We also were told that we need to destroy their like ballistic missile capability, and Trump said that that was the reason that we're going to go to war because Iran having ballistic missiles is a danger to the world. And then we were told by Secretary Marco Rubio that we got into the war because Israel felt that Iran was an intimate, immediate threat to Israel, and so that the United States had to step in and go to war for Israel. So these are all contradictory and not clearly thought out justifications for going to war with Iran. And we're just supposed to live with it. This is the world we live in. This is the world where Trump just decides that we get to go to war and we get to live with the consequences, and our lawmakers aren't consulted in any capacity. That's freaking insane. And this article by CNN does a very good job of illustrating other contradictions made by Trump and administration officials regarding the war. So first of all, in the very early days, first like week of the Iran war, Trump made multiple statements contradicting himself in regards to the war being over. In a phone interview with CBS, Trump declared, "I think the war is very complete," pretty much. And then in around the same time, only like a few days later, the Department of Defense posted on X, "We have only just begun to fight." And in a 60 Minutes interview with Pete Hegseth says, "This is only the beginning." And then reminder that Trump was asked about this contradiction by a reporter, and Trump said, well, it can be both. It can be both completely over and also just the beginning. Okay, so that's incomprehensible. And then in regards to the state of Iran's defenses, Trump offered many contradictory comments saying, Iran has no navy, no communications. They've got no air force. He said they've shot down everything that they have to shoot. You have to look. They have nothing left. There's nothing left in the military, in a military sense. He said they have no radar. They have no telecommunications. It's all gone. But elsewhere at that event, he cast the same capacities had greatly diminished rather than being completely gone. He said previously that Iran had no navy, but then immediately after said most of Iran's naval power had been sunk. He had said Iran basically shot everything it had. He had at another point said about Iran's missile capacity that it was down about 10%, down to about 10%, maybe less. And at another point, he had said most missiles had been used or destroyed, not all of them. And then he said drones are down to 25%. They'll probably be down to nothing, he said. So saying that they're completely diminished and completely gone, but then saying, oh, well, they still got a little bit left, completely contradictory. And then Iran, obviously the contradictions regarding Iran's leadership. He said that everything they have is gone, including their leadership. He said that they have no leadership, but then he said 2 levels of leadership are gone, and that most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about, which is ironic because after we killed all of the top-ranking government officials of Iran, who emerged as the new supreme leader? Oh, the son of the former supreme leader, the former Ayatollah. And so and then he said, I was disappointed because we think that it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you don't have a well thought out regime change operation. And then there was a big contradiction when President Trump was talking about the bombing of the elementary school that killed all those school children. He said, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, it was done by Iran. That was blatantly false. And we later learned that it was done by the United States and U.S. military. And so this is just yet another example of continued contradictions between the administration and GOP Congress people about what our goals are, what the status of this war is, what the plan to exit this war is, why we're there in the first place, right? And that leaves GOP Congress people scrambling because they're basically on the ball about why we're doing all of this, and they have to defend it because, or else Trump will punish them, whether that's electorally or on his True Social account, right? This is a crazy world we live in. The president unilaterally goes to war in the Middle East, doesn't consult our Congress people or our allies abroad, and then when he gets into some issues in the Strait of Hormuz that has global economic implications, he then is begging basically, or is asking for the allies that we didn't even let know in the first place about the war to come and help us fix this mess that we started. This is fucking insane. And I don't think people talk about it the way that it needs to be talked about because there will be global implications for this. So if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, share. Thank you.